Hi, everybody. Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well, if not deflated. The wind's been taken out of my sails a bit with yesterday's result. Obviously, losing 2-1 at home to Liverpool in the Premier League at the London Stadium. Our rich vein of momentum got lost. I thought it was a bit flat. I think we all looked a bit flat. I think with 9 games in 27 days or something ridiculous like that, it's a bit it's not surprising that there would be a slight dip in form. I think we just looked a bit knackered. Yes, VAR, all that type of stuff, but we made it easier for them in terms of the second goal, particularly. First goal, I think, was you could have closed them down a bit more, but hey ho. I did my ratings for the Liverpool game at lunchtime, so go and check them out and disagree as per usual. And also in the morning, we had Holly doing a piece about what does David Moyes need to do to stay at West Ham, if at all. And so she asked a lot of people via Twitter and got a lot of interesting responses, and so it was collated them. So check that out. It was a good show. But it's Hammer's headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. Check them out as per usual. 3 stories. First story is about a player apparently we have been scouting, according to several sources. So apparently West Ham scouts were present at the clash between PSV Eindhoven and Ajax on Sunday to watch Ibrahim Sangare, according to a few sources that they were out there watching him. We know there's going to be the summer saga is going to be Declan Rice. We know that's going to happen. Hopefully, it's not a long, protracted saga. It's either yes or no. He either goes early on in the transfer window to give us time to reinvest that money, or he says at the beginning, I ain't going anywhere. I'm not leaving. Signs a new deal and maybe leaves next year. Maybe gives us one more year. And then we can then look at how we can benefit having Declan Rice still in the side. So, but that needs to be done early. We know it's not going to. And we know it's going to be probably the last day in August in the January in the summer transfer window that he goes, and then we've got like 100 million quid in the bank and nowhere to spend it. But best laid plans. So anyway, West Ham are looking at alternatives and looking at that midfield area as a whole. And the midfield is a position we need to bolster. I think regardless of Declan Rice leaving or not. And Ibrahim is one of those people they're looking at. He's got a release clause of 33 million quid apparently in his contract, and he's among targets to replace Declan Rice or even complement Declan Rice next year. And the club have been sending scouts to watch him in action this past weekend. It's claimed in the report that his representatives have alerted West Ham to his availability this summer. A bit about him: he's a rangy midfielder, he's very defensive minded, but can burst forward a bit like a Vieira, Yaya Toure type player in terms of his ranginess, so to speak. He likes to break the line, similar way to Declan Rice likes to do, although he's been doing it more often. But this season's been a little bit curtailed in that sort of side, I think. I think, if we do sell Declan for 80 million quid, for example, and we get Ibrahim in for 33, that's solid business and would leave the West Ham manager, whoever he may well be, with extra funds to bolster the squad elsewhere, potentially. It's definitely one we've been looking at. There's several others. We might do a little show on that maybe in terms of who could replace. I don't think you can replace him, but who could we get in to fill the Declan Rice spots in the side if he leaves. There's so many alternatives we've been talking about. We've been thinking about, obviously, Ibrahim. We've been talking about Linkovic Savage. We've been talking about Conor Gallagher, not Sean White Phillips, James Ward-Prowse. Jesus, I think he's still having his. I think Sean White Phillips is still having his medical with Ida Johnson by the sounds of it. Plus people like Scott McTominay, Conor Gallagher. So there's loads of potentials. So that might be interesting to look at. So we'll have a look at that. But Ibrahim is one that we've been looking at. And so apparently with scouts as well. Maybe they'll be scouting AZ as well because they are in the same league. So I hope they'll be scouting them at the same time. Another guy we've been linked with is the German centre-back, Jonathan Tah. Now, West Ham are apparently confident of dealing a big blow to Spurs by signing the 27-year-old centre-back, who apparently oozes brilliance. According to a report from Blind, the German media outlet, West Ham are quietly confident of beating Spurs for the signing of Jonathan in the summer transfer window. The Hammers and Spurs, it's an area we need to bolster, I think, particularly with the likes of Ogbonna, whether, coming to the end of his contract, Ben Johnson maybe moving on. Centre backs at the moment, I think we've probably got. I suppose Tilo Kehrer can fill in, but after Zuma and Aged, I would suggest that, and maybe Ogbonna, but we need a strong sort of quartet of centre backs. And even that's maybe not enough. I mean, this season we started with 4, and last season we had 4, we ended up with 1. And similarly this year as well, with Zuma's has always a question mark over his fitness. Again's been injured a couple of times. So, if we win the conference, we'll have European football again. So we need some strong centre backs. And Jonathan could be it. He's a bit of a giant of a man, to be honest. Apparently, the Blind reckons that West Ham are in pole position to sign the Bayer Leverkusen defender in the summer. I mean, we were linked to him. I remember talking about him last year. And the transfer sort of failed to materialise. This season, 28 appearances in the Bundesliga, 1.3 interceptions is averaged, 3.6 clearances per game. He's won 1.7 aerial duels, good pass for the ball as well, very comfortable with the ball. He had 89% pass completion rates on average in the Bundesliga. He's 6'5", so he's a giant of a man, very physically intimidating. So he definitely has that physicality to succeed in the Premier League. Ain't too shabby on the floor anyway, in terms of he can move it as well. So he'll apparently be available for around 17 million quid, 20 million euro. That's according to the German media site Kicker. So we know there's plenty of transfer news knocking about. We know there's lots of parts moving. But I think Jonathan will be an exceptional, and at 27, he's sort of entering his peak years, really, as a centre back, similar ages to Naif and Kurt Zuma as well, 26, 27. So, sort of 3 very good centre backs we could have on our books. So, yeah, we'll see. And I mean, as I said, if we sold Declan Rice 33 million to Ibrahim, 30, was it 13 million, 30, 17 million? That ain't bad. And then a left back. Or do we need a left back? Because apparently, according to several sources, including Football Insider, Aaron Cresswell is close to landing a new deal at the London Stadium. He's hopeful of extending his stay with the Hammers if Moyes is kept on as manager next season, apparently. He has an excellent relationship with Cresswell, Moyes and Aaron. And obviously, he values his leadership experience in the dressing room highly, particularly with the likes of Mark Noble moving on. After Mark, he's the most appearances in the Premier League in the current squad. It's understood Moyes is a huge fan of him and will green light an extension to his contract if he's kept in charge next term. Cresswell's current deal expires in the summer, and he, as we know, he's well into his twilight years of his career. And I mean, he's 33 now. And the last few games, he's had this resurgence. He does this every sort of 18 months or so. You think he's gone. A bit like Nobes did previously. You think his legs are gone and he just gets into the side and puts in some really good performances. And I think he has, and he's shown his versatility. He's been playing left back, but he can play in the left side of a back 3 if needed. I think West Ham are looking to maybe offload and sort of jig that defence side of the squad. We spoke about Ben Johnson maybe going to Everton in the summer under Deitch. Vladimir Sufaz at the end of his contract in the summer, although we do have a 2-year option on him. You got Cresswell as well. I think if Johnson goes to Everton, I think they'll give Cresswell an extension, a contract, it's new contract, partly just to have some bodies there. Because I think, don't forget, we've got the likes of Ollie Scars, Louise Al. You've got some centre back. I think Ryan Batcham was very good in the 18s game. You've got Casey, who's been featured in the match day squads a few times now. So you've got the next generation coming in, but I think you need experience there as well. And Aaron has it. I think it showed over the summer. Or this season, particularly losing Nobes and Dawson, two big presences in the dressing room. You do need that experience. He's currently spending his 9th year at the club, and he's played about 325 appearances for West Ham. So that ain't too shabby. I think he's made about 30 odd appearances this year as well, and had a half dozen assists or something like that. So yeah, I think he's played for a new deal. I wouldn't offer him a long-term deal because he's 33, but another year maybe. And then that gives Ollie another year to progress. We've still got Emerson on the side as well. And definitely fullback is an area we need to be improving, I think, in terms of the transfer window, that's for sure. And that's it, my friends. Thank you very, very much for your time. As per usual, we'll be here doing all the stuff, all the previews for the Crystal Palace game coming up at the weekend. We'll have your say Friday, tomorrow at lunchtime live, the presser, and then obviously the watch along for the Palace game. Plus, then we'll have on Sunday, hopefully have an interview with a celebrity West Ham fan as well, doing a My Hammers 11 with him tonight. So we'll put it out on Sunday. So keep an eye out for that. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my friends. Come on, you bloody irons, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Ta-ta.